Courtside on Albertson's Radio Row in beautiful Dreamstyle Arena of the Pit, the Lobos have defeated Cal State University Northridge CSUN 97-70. Welcome into the postgame show. Take the fastest internet to the house with Xfinity XFi. Stream the Lobos all season long on every in-home device, no matter where you watch. It's beyond Wi-Fi. It's XFi. Xfinity, proud partner of the UNM Lobos. Back with my broadcast partner, Lobo all-time great Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Hunter pouring over the final stat sheet of the Lobos' convincing, comprehensive defeat of Cal State Northridge. Lots of great stuff to talk about, Hunter, but I'm pumped about the 2 second-half turnovers for New Mexico.
Yes.
After committing 10 in the first half, they cleaned things up and they ran away from CSUN after leading them by 11 at the break.
Yeah, I mean, Coach talked about in his pregame, half-court defense. I think the Lobos turned it up a bit on the half-court defense, especially in the second half, where CSUN went cold shooting from the three.
Lobos led by as many as 29, ended up finishing off the 97-70 victory. And it's the second straight game, Hunter, where New Mexico's offense has been nothing short of spectacular. In the opening win over Eastern on Wednesday, they shot 60%, 33 for 55. Tonight, 36 for 60 for 60%. It's hard to lose when you're shooting that high a percentage.
Oh, yeah. No, that's no question. A lot of it has to do with the ball movement, getting shots at the rim, and a lot of that's Jaquan Lyle and J.J. Caldwell making that extra pass.
The number of assists to field goal makes is a number that I really like to focus on, and UNM was tremendous in that column again tonight. They had an assist on 61% of their field goals tonight. You're doing that. That's the ball movement you're talking about.
Well, I mean, and again, at the rim, 56 of your points are at the rim. I mean, you're shooting a high percentage shot doing that. I mean, there's no question. So credit to the ball passing, the ball movement, and, of course, the shot creation by the guards. J.J. Caldwell, Jaquan Lyle, Zane Martin.
That same ratio on Wednesday, 22 out of 33, 67%. And again, like you were saying, a lot of points in the paint.
Yep.
And then another thing, and similar to the way that it played out on Wednesday, gave up some threes early, got that corrected,
yes,
and guarded the line better after early success from CSUN tonight.
And cleaned it up in the first half. You know, I mean, they didn't wait until the second half. They got it about the second half of the first half. They actually started to pressure the shooter.
And I think the Lobos will be a higher percentage three-point shooting team. Not that it hasn't been good, because it's been fine. 37.5% from three tonight, 35% on Wednesday. But I think that they can push that 40% number.
I agree, and you know why? It's because of the ball movement, the ball penetration, the
quality of the looks.
To penetrate to pitch. I mean, there were times when Jaquan Lyle would penetrate and find a wide-open Keith McGee.
Yes.
Right? McQuatch Malawach. I mean, these guys, all they have to do is set their feet and knock it down. And so because of that, I believe, and it doesn't matter if they move the line back 18, 19 more inches or whatever, I believe that the Lobos will shoot a higher percentage from the three throughout the year.
It's because of the guard play.
Yes. Creating opportunities for your teammate.
I've got a quandary type of question for you. Do you think that moving the line back will have the desired effect of spreading the floor more and creating more space? Or do you think that the percentages overall might drop a bit and teams will tend to pack it in a little, encouraging the longer three because not as many go in?
I mean, yes and yes. I mean, bottom line is, I think that's the goal of the NCAA is to spread the floor.
Yeah.
and make that a great equalizer for the smaller player. But then I think in the next couple of years we'll see them widen the paint.
Absolutely,
the key. So
and the game should be universalized, right?
But
at least at the
all those records in the past are out the window. 19-9 out the window, right? 29 out the window. We got a new 22 whatever plus, and so all those records Mathis set or Elijah Brown set, going to have an asterisk.
So, well, there should be 3 categories, right? First line, second line, third line? Is that what you want to do?
Listen, I played, and the line came in 86, and I was fortunate to play with that line. Willie Long wasn't. I broke his scoring record. That's not fair. I mean, he didn't have the three-point line.
But he had the three-point range.
He had the range. And so, I mean, I think as the game changes over the years, there has to be some kind of asterisk because 19-9 is a lot closer than 22-9 or whatever the line is. I think it's 22-9, yeah, today. So
makes an enormous difference.
Oh, it does. But you know, these kids are shooting this at an early age. I mean, we didn't get the line until 86. I was a junior in college, so I believe that it won't make a huge difference. It will spread the floor more. Percentages may come down a little bit, especially if they're shooting off the dribble instead of a catch and shoot. But I believe the style of play that the Lobos are playing right now with the ball penetration and the way Jaquan Lyle shares the basketball, J.J. Caldwell shares the basketball, they penetrate the pitch, I believe we'll see the percentages go up.
The best tailgates start with the best beef. Make your grub the talk of the tailgate with Rancher's Reserve. USDA Choice All Angus beef available at Albertsons Market, where we do beef the best. We are courtside on Albertsons Radio Row here in Dreamstyle Arena of the Pit. You can take a peek at some of the individual numbers. The Lobos put 5 in double figures here tonight against Cal State University Northridge. Led in scoring by 18 from Jaquan Lyle. Explosive first half from Lyle, 11, as he finished 7 for 10 from the field, 2 for 4 from deep, 2 for 2 at the foul line, had 4 defensive rebounds. He had 5 assists, did have 6 turnovers, but plus 19 when Lyle was on the floor as he produced once again for the second straight game. The Lobos got 17 apiece from Carlton Bragg and Corey Manigault, the two bigs. Bragg 6 of 9 field, 5 of 7 foul line, 4 boards, and an assist. He was plus 14 when he was on court. Corey Manigault, 17 points on 7-11 field, 3 of 4 from the foul line, 2 boards for Manigault, and a couple of steals for Corey, plus 13 for Mr. Manigault. Double figures as well for Zane Martin, 4 of 11 field, 2 of 4 from long range, 3 of 3 at the foul line, 3 rebounds, 1 offensive. He had 5 assists, just 1 turnover. That's great because you look back at his numbers from the first game of the year and it was inverted. No assists, 6 turnovers. So Zane Martin cleaned that up and completely flipped the script. Lobos also had double-digit scoring from Keith McGee. There was a stretch there at the end of the first half where McGee took over the game. 10 points, 4 of 7 field. He had a long ball, 1 of 4 there, 1 of 1 at the foul line, 4 boards, 3 assists, just 1 turnover for McGee. Rounding out the scoring for the Lobos, J.J. Caldwell had 9 points, 3 assists, and 0 turnovers tonight for J.J. Caldwell. Add in a steal for good measure. 6 points for Jackson, 5 points for Malawach, and 2 points for Kurt Vegscheider. So that's the Lobo scoring column. You'll love to see the balance. You were talking about it, Hunter. Who's going to get the next call? Coach Ware can dial up a play for 5 different guys.
Yes. You have that luxury this year. I think, again, like Coach said, emphasis is going to be on the defense, half-court defense, and not letting teams get comfortable early. I mean, I think we've seen it the last 2 games where guys will come out and they start knocking down threes, and the Lobos aren't guarding at the three-point line until the opponent has knocked down 3 or 4 of them. So what a luxury, though, to be able to just call a number and be able to get the ball into Carlton Braggs or Jackson or, I'm looking at, and I may be wrong, but Jaquan Lyle might be the best post-up player. I mean, just pounding it down. I mean,
from the guard position.
Yes, from the guard position. So you got a lot of offensive power here, no question.
Lobos win it 97-70 over Cal State University Northridge. Timeout. Post-game show continues after this break. We are courtside on Albertsons Radio Row. You're listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network. Lobos 97, CSUN 70. New Mexico improved to 2-0. The victory over Cal State University Northridge. We are courtside, Albertsons Radio Row, Dreamstyle into the Pit. The Lobos will get back after it again midweek next week as they start the Legends Classic. They started at home, a couple of home games as part of that tournament, and then it'll be a trip to Brooklyn and the Barclays Center. Okay, time for a Toyota Drive of the Game. Toyota, let's go places. Rebound by Harkless. Harkless, gorgeous three-quarter bounce pass, feed, and the layup curls off, no good. Mike Coleman, here goes an end-in run for McGee! Oh! And he rises and lunges. McGee sprinted past the defense and climbed the elevator shaft again.
Rebound coast to coast. McGee with the dunk.
He just kept rising, Hunter. He has startling hops, doesn't he? I mean, that's more than bunnies. Those are flat-out springs.
I think he's one of the best athletes on the team. I mean, from baseline to baseline, I don't think anybody can beat him. And then, of course, he's got the bunnies. He can he can just flat-out spring off the floor. So to grab a rebound and go coast to coast and dunk it on the other end, I mean, you've got to be very athletic to do that.
That's the Toyota drive of the game. Toyota, let's go places. Keith McGee, you know what impressed me most? Not just that, but the way he distributed there in that little run, 5-minute run at the end of the second half when he had all three of his assists all there, and it's like a bunch right in that stretch where he had court time as the Lobos pushed their lead to double digits at the end of the first half.
Well, his effort just on the rebounding, right? He's had 4 boards from the guard position. McQuatch led all with 8. And I just think rebounding is just effort. And, of course, timing and anticipation. But, you know, it's a want-to. And McQuatch had 8 and McGee had 4. So not only was he effective offensively, you know, he was doing other things out there.
I was thinking about the depth and the quality depth in the New Mexico backcourt, Hunter, before the season started, and trying to find where a returner, Keith McGee, was going to get his minutes with all of the experienced players at that position. Granted, guys that hadn't been on the court, but players that have been phenomenal at this level. Remember, Keith just one D1 season under his belt coming from junior college. And you've got a Towson superstar, Zane Martin, coming out of his redshirt year. You've got Jaquan Lyle, a 2-year starting point guard from the Big Ten's Ohio State University, and J.J. Caldwell, who was an outstanding point guard for Texas A&M in the Southeastern Conference. And you're trying to find minutes for Keith McGee. He's had 20 minutes 2 games in a row. He's finding his way onto the court.
Well, it's also early in the season, but I see him as a situational kind of guy, especially when those others get into foul trouble. We'll start to see McGee fill in those positions.
We welcome in Lobo head men's basketball coach Paul Weir on our post-game show as New Mexico has defeated Cal State University Northridge 97-70. Coach Weir, I'll ask about this first because the Lobos were sitting on 10 turnovers at half, and you ended up with 2 in the second half, and I think one was a late one that you could maybe throw away there in the final minute or two. So essentially just 1 second half turnover while your team sprinted away from CSUN. How happy were you about that?
Yeah, I think I just mentioned the post game. I think I've mentioned to you too. It's been a very process-oriented preseason for us, process-oriented games. We don't go into this game trying to win by this amount or whatever. It's like, let's just get better in these areas. As you guys know, defense, rebounding have been like the big ones, and I thought we made some steps there tonight. And the third one, which has kind of crept up with us, is valuing the basketball. And I think a lot of that, even tonight, that first half one is one guy, and he's has a big number there, and we just got to keep growing. And the other guy who had them last game didn't have them today, and it's just step by step. And I think I've really tried to just be as patient as I possibly can with just watching this team grow, as opposed to coming in and saying we're doing this, this, and this. There's so many just good players here. I want to just kind of see what we have and where we can move them and how we can do it together. And as long as we're defending and rebounding, we'll have the luxury of that, So I think the turnovers are a part of that. Like, that's what we've been working on. That's what we're watching film on and talking to guys about. So I think if we just kind of keep taking this process-oriented approach, our ceiling is really high. I don't know the journey to get there, how that's going to go exactly, but as long as we're kind of keep taking these steps along the way, I think we'll be pretty good.
Coach, you talk about the process, and I'm sitting here thinking, what is the team's identity? Have you tried? Do you know what the team's
so
identity?
Far, all I've talked about since the fall has been we need to be able to be we need to get court stops in the half-court defense. We're not worrying about anything else. It's most of our practice time. It's most of our film time. And tonight, in our second scrimmage, I thought we had some great stretches against Oregon where we really, really guarded. We had a few the other night, but I thought tonight was probably the first time. In the first half there, I think we had 9 straight stops. Mm-hmm. And, that's big for us. I don't know if we've ever had that. So to me, that's where it's all started with us. I think offensively, we're talented enough that we'll make that work as we go. It's just, are we going to be able to defend at a high enough level to beat elite basketball teams? And that's what I've tried to hang our hat on. And tonight's probably the first night, I think, even when we came into halftime, we kind of just grinded out that lead. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't sexy. It was just stops along the way to kind of get us that halftime lead.
You talk about the identity being a half court. I think the last two games you gave up 70, 72 points in those games. Are you pleased with giving up that many points?
Last game I think was 0.85 points per possession. We'd forced everybody 20-plus turnovers. Tonight I think was 16. As long as those turnover numbers are there, the field goal percentages are under 40. I think the possession count's a little higher. So after the first game, I think we were 0.85, 0.84 points per possession. I'll take a look at what tonight was, but I just think if we can kind of string those stretches together where we're getting multiple stops like we've been, I feel good about that.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir is with us here post-game. The Lobos have defeated CSUN 97-70. I was so excited to see what he did at the end of the first half there. While you were able to take that lead out to double digits at break, Keith McGee had a stretch right at the end of the first half that was startling how good he was. Yeah, I think, as we obviously have some very good guys with the ball. I think obviously you can see Jaquan. I think Zane is, he shows those flashes. Corey in the post. We have some guys that are very gifted with the ball, scoring, passing, etc. And when you can surround them with guys of kind of Keith's speed and athleticism, they look different than maybe they have in the past, just because they have guys that can find them. They have guys that can help them utilize that. And he's a big beneficiary of that, and I'm happy for him because we need players like that. McQuatch, him, Tavian, the guys that can just kind of fill in those other spots, run the lanes, play great defense, and they're going to have big nights. And Keith's obviously a great three-point shooter, which we need on the floor as well, and I'm excited about the kind of year he can have for us.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was going to mention. I think Jaquan will make guys like McQuatch and McGee better players just because he's going to be able to find them, and all they have to do is just catch and shoot.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Or streaking to the rim.
Exactly.
Finish at the rim.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Jaquan, I don't know if this was conscious, just the way that it happened. He was so immediately looking to set up teammates in the opener on Wednesday, and tonight it looked like he looked for his offense a little bit more early in the first half.
Yeah, they start three guards that are 6 feet tall, so we knew with him at the 2 and McQuatch at the 3, we knew going into the game there was going to be an advantage somewhere on the post. And we said in the pre-gamers, McQuatch or Quan, and they put the little guys on Quan, and we just kind of threw the ball in there and just played through him for most of the night, and it kind of stayed that way. So we just, he's good down there. So that was more
the 4 in the second half.
That was more of a matchup. Yeah, we did because they kept the guards on him. Unfortunately, we have guys like Vance and McQuatch who can step out and play on the perimeter, and we just inverted a little bit and put him down on the block where, him and Corey Manigault down there on the blocks are very good threats. So
Jaquan may be your best post-up player.
Yes, good point. Good point. I agree.
Hunter made the point, and I smiled because I've thought it, and he said it first, but that one finish from Zane Martin where he took contact and finished at the rim tonight, and Hunter said, he'd look good over there on the field turf in Dreamstyle Stadium.
He's
unbelievably strong kid.
He played football, and he plays like one. He's a Philadelphia kid, played football in high school. He's physical, he's strong. I still think he avoids a little bit too much contact, and there's probably a few more he can get if he just keeps bulldogging his way in there the way he can do. I think as he gets that and used to that, he'll hopefully just keep getting better and better. And the fact he's making shots has been awesome, so I think it just kind of makes him a tough threat to guard.
Follow up on Zane. There was one sequence there. You took a long time to talk to him after. I think he was initially at the rim, couldn't finish. The ball ended up getting out to Keith for a wing 3. And after the sequence ended, you had a long chat with him about something. What was that about?
Just staying positive. He gets down when he gets in there and doesn't get fouled, and he's just got to get to the next play, and he's got to stay positive, and he's got to keep working. He's too good of a player to allow his own frustrations to take himself out of the game, and I kind of feel our team is that way in a way. If we can just get out of our own way a little bit, sometimes we have a chance to be really good.
A lot of times when you get in front of the press, you take a moment for some comments before questions. Did you do that tonight? And was there anything that you told to me you'd like to share with our fans
I did not. I gave it to Henry T., and as seamless as a professional he is, he just went right into a question as if
something
I told him beforehand. I mean, it was just like it was teed up like some White House presser or something. It was he was seamless. It was impressive. I even said, Henry, that was amazing. He was ready to roll. He's a professional.
Good to have Drew, albeit in a polo shirt.
Yeah.
Drew Drennan in the huddle at least tonight.
Yeah, no, honestly, Drew came in last night. We were going to try and meet today. We didn't get a chance. He came down for the game and wanted to be there. I said, sure. We haven't had a chance to visit yet and just kind of talk about where things will go. But he's been here and is very well liked by his teammates, by us, and he's a part of our program. And until things change, he's here.
Well, upcoming, the first of 2 games, home games that are part of the bigger picture Legends Classic tournament that'll end up with you guys in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Green Bay's a good team. I have not got into them, but just looking at their kind of ratings in general and their rankings and who's coming back, they got a lot of seniors. They won over 20 games last year. This is the kind of team that is very, very capable. And quite honestly, Northridge, if Deanne wasn't out, probably would have been the same level of team. I thought they fought hard. They had a great game at Oregon State. It was a 6-point game with 7 minutes to go, and they really fought Oregon State. And I think you can see their talent, but they're a little shorthanded right now. Green Bay's going to be ready to roll, and we have to just keep getting better and come out with a better effort against them on Wednesday and just keep improving.
Your team looked ready to roll tonight. Coach Ware, congratulations. You're 2-0 and a really convincing win over a pretty good Northridge team tonight.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our guest. Let's take our final timeout. We come back to wrap it up after this break. The Lobos beat Cal State University Northridge 97-70. Lobo basketball on the UNO Sports Radio Network. So the Lobos with a convincing win over Cal State University Northridge here in Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit tonight. Final score 97-70. We are courtside on Albertson's Radio Row. Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit, along with Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Big thank you to our broadcast producer and engineer, Michael Carlisle, and our also studio engineer extraordinaire. He handles everything back there downtown. That would be Mike Vitale. I'm Robert Portnoy. And Hunter, good to hear Coach Weir feeling so good about what his club has accomplished through 2 games. But there are places for improvement, of course. And as you see it, as the Lobos continue on their journey, where are they looking to take the next stride or two in terms of getting better?
Well, I mean, as he talked about, just taking care of the basketball overall, which, being in the second game of the season, it's to be expected they'll have, more turnovers at this point in time in the season. You want to clean that up. And then, of course, he flat out said the identity is he wants to be a half-court defending team. And offensively has no problems being able to get what he wants offensively. It's on the defensive end. So I think those are the areas, taking care of the basketball and half-court defense. Very clear what he's trying to work towards in this process, as he calls it.
Elsewhere in Mountain West action on a Saturday, the 9th of November here, as the college basketball season is in full swing. UNLV hosted Kansas State, and it went OT. K-State 60, UNLV 56. BYU hosted San Diego State, and the Aztecs got a road win, 76-71. Air Force defeated Texas State. That was in Colorado Springs, 78-71. And a couple of other games are still ongoing. Loyola Marymount at Nevada, Boise State at Oregon. Our final here, the Lobos 97, Cal State University Northridge 70. So, New Mexico, as you heard Coach Weir talk about it, he feels like a very accomplished opponent is coming into Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit, when the Lobos get back to the court on Wednesday. Green Bay is on hand for a 7 o'clock tip-off, and we'll take the air at 6:30 with our pregame show. The Lobos look to move to 3-0, and I feel like this is a perfect start of the season schedule. It's a team that is so new, the Lobos, with so many new parts, blending old and new. To have an opportunity, for example, to open against Eastern New Mexico and see what you have with the lights actually on for real, I think that's a huge benefit.
I thought about that there's 7 new players, really, right?
Right.
But every team in Division I is starting to be like that, right? So
right.
everyone's dealing with all the new mixture, and it always surprises me how New Mexico State's able to do it, because they've always got 5 or 6 new guys, and they blend right in and they win their conference. And so anymore, I mean, it's like you don't have time, right away in the summer. Guys have to get together and start to mesh and gel and all that good stuff. So that's not, anymore. I don't think that's everybody has to deal with that, right? So
it's tough on coaches.
Yeah, but as a fan, you want to see them play Kentucky. You want to see them play Duke. You want to see them play all the big name schools. And I understand it. I mean, when I played, we were fortunate enough to be able to play the Georgetowns and the UCLAs and Arizona's and
they're just not willing to come here anymore.
And that's tough, and it's been a battle for everyone in the conference to be able to schedule a home and home. So
can't get them.
How do you fix that? I don't know.
Not against the big time, elite power conference schools.
Yeah,
really difficult.
I guess we have to pay them a lot of money to come here, right? Flip the script. Actually, when we played Georgetown here in '85, we did. Back then, I remember the university paying like $100 back then. 30-something years ago, it was $100,000 they played Georgetown to come in and play in the pit. And so I don't know. I don't know how you fix that, but the schedule is what it is. I think we all would like to see SEC schools and the ACC schools coming to the pit, but
it's a tough ask.
They're scared. They're scared.
Completely. And, budgetary considerations, what they are these days, too. All those things, all those factors that go into it. You're playing those teams. You're lucky if you get them to take you on their floor.
Right. Yeah.
Not in a home-and-home scenario. As a one-off. That's difficult.
It is.
Yeah. I think about it recently, the home-and-home with Colorado, the home-and-home with Arizona. That's the best that, recently, anyway, that you've been able to get. And I know the fans want to see some different teams come in. Yeah.
Maybe some Big 12.
I like it.
Why not? Texas Tech's not that far. Lubbock. Could do that.
Yep. Great call. All right. Guess that'll do it for us. The Lobos are back at it on Wednesday. We hope that you'll be with us. Green Bay comes to town. They'll be right here in Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. Get your tickets. Bring the headset. Sit in the seats and watch a great Division I college basketball game. 7 p.m. tip-off, 6:30 airtime with the pregame show on the UNM Sports Radio Network. Again, thanks to Mike Vitale and Michael Carlisle. My broadcast partner is Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. We'll talk to you on Wednesday night from the legendary Pit, Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. Your final score for the final time as UNM drops CSUN, Cal State University Northridge to 0-2. The Lobos improved to 2-0. New Mexico 97, CSUN 70. Good night, everybody. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network.